In this video, I'm going to be talking about UK house prices, what's been happening to them and where they could potentially go. If you find any of this useful, please hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now, I update this video at least once a month, but there is an article on the Money to the Masses website, which we link to in the notes of this video and on screen, where you can find the latest commentary. Now, house prices are determined by a number of factors, which include the overall health of the economy, interest rates, so that's the Bank of England which sets them, and the ups and downs in the base rate is already having an impact on UK house prices. Obviously, at a more local level, supply and demand has a huge impact on how much your house is going to be worth. For example, if a new housing development is completed just around the corner from you, then that can reduce the value of properties nearby, as there is a greater competition for buyers. Conversely, some properties will always command a premium because they are in sought after areas, but that whole supply dynamic will change what your individual house price is worth when you're watching this. So the figures we talk about are broad figures for the UK generally. But while I don't have a crystal ball about where house prices are going, we can look at a number of property indices that are very useful at giving an indication of where house prices have been heading, and then give us some insight on where they might head to next. Now, there are a number of respected sources of data relating to house prices, including monthly indices that provide information on house price changes over the previous month and over the previous 12 months. So that's the last year. I'm going to run through a number of them. The first one is the UK House Price Index. Now, all these indices are calculated in different ways. This particular index is the most accurate of the various house price indices, as it is calculated based on completed sales, both for cash sales and those with a mortgage. The wide-ranging data is sourced from Her Majesty's Land Registry and other government sources. Now, the picture is very clear from this data and it is accurate, but the one fly in the ointment is that it is slightly delayed. So the latest data that we have is for September 2022, so it's a couple of months ago. But that data has showed that the average UK house price has fallen from £295,903 to £294,599. So this follows a slight rise of 0.9% in August 2022, with a year-on-year growth of 9.5%. Next up, we have Nationwide's House Price Index, and this is calculated based on its own data of mortgage approvals. November 2022 saw the index dip for the second month in a row, falling by 1.4%, following a dip of 0.9% in October. Economists at Nationwide believe that continuing market turmoil following that mini budget back in September and the subsequent U-turns that we had is likely to have contributed to most of that fall. Additionally, high borrowing costs are impacting affordability at a time when inflation is taking its toll on UK household finances. The next house price index I'm going to talk about is the one from Halifax. This is calculated from its own database of approximately 300,000 mortgage approvals. Recent data shows average house prices fell by minus 2.3% in November, the largest fall since 2008, and it is the third consecutive monthly fall, as you can see on screen. You can find, in fact, all of the tables were shown on screen with all of that data in the article that we've linked to in the notes of this particular video. The next index you're going to see on screen is Rightmove's House Price Index. That index is unlike the other indices we've mentioned, which are based on mortgage approvals or completed sales data. This looks at the average asking price for properties listed on the Rightmove portal. Now, this is a good reflection of sellers' confidence, but doesn't clearly demonstrate how many of those properties end up going under offer at much lower prices, or in fact don't end up selling at all. Its most recent data shows a fall of 1.1% for November. So where might house prices head next? Well, the infamous mini budget is behind us now, but that sent shockwaves through the mortgage market, resulting in rapid increases in mortgage interest rates. Now, the Bank of England base rate now sits at 3%. In the coming days after this video is released, it's likely to be pushed up to about 3.5% as analysts expect, but you can find that by searching online. The point is, the Bank of England base rate is predicted to keep rising and rise as high as 4.6% in 2023, meaning that the best fixed rate mortgages are likely to be around about 5.5% if that keeps going the way the market predicts. And of course, we've also got lenders stress testing mortgage applications at much higher rates than they were before because of this upward pressure on mortgage rates. All in all, this is putting downward pressure on house prices. In 1992, the average house price fell by about 20% following a rapid rise in the Bank of England base rate. And of course, that's exactly what we've seen this year, a rapid rise in the Bank of England base rate, which is why you're seeing some analysts predicting some significant falls in house prices this year, but we just don't know what will happen. And of course, don't forget the affordability element is going to start impacting the amount that people can borrow and therefore impact the number of transactions that even occur, which will also put downward pressure on house prices. So if you want to know how much your property is worth, as I mentioned at the top of the video, it's very particular to where you live and it can be influenced by all sorts of local factors. The best way to find out is if you go onto property sites like Rightmove and Zoopla. They have features that give you an estimate based on sales history and what other local properties have sold for. Now, these tools are not completely accurate, but they give you a good starting point to work out how much you could reasonably expect to sell your house for. It's also possible to access sold house price numbers, so the actual amounts in pounds and pence a house that was down the road from you sold, by looking at the land registry. And you can also get an indication of what your house is worth by talking to local estate agents. So don't just go with one, get a number of them to come around and give you an estimate of what your property would be worth, and then take a rough average of the three. That's a rough, good rule of thumb of how to work out how much your house is worth. If you found this video useful in any way, then please make sure you like it, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to look out for future episodes where we'll keep updating this as we go through 2023 and we get new information from all of those different house price indices.